have Jessica Suda with Summit Insurance here with me. Jessica, thanks for joining.
Of course.
So, tell us a little bit about how you got into the insurance industry and kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so I was in kind of the criminal justice world for about 8 or 9 years. Really just kind of wanted something different and to not have a commute every day. So my husband, who was in real estate, just kind of randomly called me up at work one day and literally asked me if I wanted to get my insurance license with literally no background, no idea what to do. But I trusted him and I jumped on board, took my test and passed the first time, and here I am.
Trusting your husband.
Yes, that's something I don't always do.
So that's kind of, I guess what inspired you was John called and said, "Hey, let's do this." So what's one thing that people don't necessarily know about you?
I've ran 3 half marathons.
Have you really?
I have. Running used to be like my pastime all the time.
Like here in Wichita, or where?
No.
Where have you done them at?
My first one I ever did was in Salina. I've done one in Lawrence, Kansas, and the Oklahoma City Memorial run was my last one, and that was the absolute, the coolest one that we've done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Jessica, how long have you been in the insurance industry?
Coming up on 2 years. May was actually 2 years since I got my license.
Awesome. And what do you love most about it?
I'd say just the flexibility and getting to meet new people. We've gotten an array of clients over the last 2 years, and so it's been really cool to just meet with them. I've gotten close with some of them, been able to meet with them in person. Working from home, sometimes don't have that face-to-face, so it's been nice to kind of have that again with some of them.
Yeah. So I know there's not really many days off, but whenever you do get a day off or a night off, what's your favorite thing to do?
Honestly, just hang outside with my daughter and my husband, or go do something like fishing, especially since it's summer, and just being able to be outside. Just anything with them is good, or read a good book.
Yeah. So what kind of insurance do you specialize in?
So I wouldn't really say I specialize in one specific kind. We do a lot of just personal lines, so your home and auto, renters, stuff like that. But we also dip our toe into the commercial space, which sometimes I like, and other days I really hate it, but it's challenging. And I enjoy a challenge sometimes.
Yeah. Which, probably the personal side is a little more rewarding, I guess, but the commercial side, what challenges do you run into there?
So with your home and auto, it's pretty black and white. You kind of always need the same information. It's fairly quick to roll them out, get it going. Whereas with commercial, every single thing is completely different, because you could have, even just take a restaurant for instance, you have 2 restaurants, and the application process for both of those is going to be completely different based on what they are selling, what they do, what their income is on the building itself. So there's just so much more to dive into, and having to have those questions with the owners versus just kind of hey, I need your basic contact info and your VINs for your cars.
Yeah. So basically it's like business based.
Yes. Absolutely.
So no 2 businesses will have the same questions.
Exactly.
So what's one piece of insurance advice that you wish more people knew about?
Just knowing your coverage, honestly. So many people don't know what they have. They don't even know who their insurance carrier is when I'm talking to them. And so I just think knowing these things, which I was guilty of too before, I had no idea. And so kind of education a little here and there is something that I strive for. But yeah, definitely knowing what your coverages are.
So let's talk about that coverage like you were just talking about. So how do you, as an insurance agent, and how does the normal consumer, tell us about coverages? What do you suggest, or do you just get the bare minimum, or how does that work?
So I have a standard on my quoting, like for auto, for instance, it's the easiest one that's kind of blanket coverage. I always have a minimum level that I start quoting at, and then if a client like particularly asks for something higher or lower, then we go from there. There is what's called like state minimum coverage. I will never like quote somebody at that. I would even hesitate if they ask for that to do that, just because it's not helpful. But again, that kind of goes into just explaining what those coverages are to them so that they understand, because they hear numbers like 100, 300, and they have no idea what that means for their liability or property damage, all of that.
So let's hit on that a little more. What does that 100, 300 mean?
So 100, 300 is your liability limit. So state minimums for Kansas is 2550, meaning 25,000 per person up to 50,000, which in an accident is not going to be very helpful. So the 100, 300 is kind of my standard where I start my quoting, which is 100,000 up to 300,000 per incident. You can go up to 250, 500. Some even offer a higher. Some carriers will offer higher limits. But I feel like that 100, 300 is a good, safe spot to start.
As long as you're not running into Lamborghinis or
Yes.
Bentleys or something like
Yes.
that, then you're probably pretty good.
Exactly.
So how often should somebody like review their insurance policy, and what does that look like?
Every year, or even if you've got a 6-month auto policy, every time that you're coming up on renewal, that is when you should be going over your new policy to make sure that, one, they are going to be renewed. Do we need to make any changes? Has there been any new vehicles? People get busy, life is busy. We don't always update our agents about everything. And that is something that we're striving for, is to be able to reach out to our clients prior to those renewals, to go over those things before. That way we know they're still going into that new policy with the best coverages that they need.
Awesome. Well, good deal. Let's kind of shift it a little bit, and what's the most rewarding story that you've been a part of so far with a client?
Ooh, I feel like we've had a few, because we had a little rocky start coming into the insurance world. But one in particular, there was a business owner here in Wichita who had actually not been covered for several months, and not to his fault. But we worked our butts off to be able to save that. And mind you, this was like month 1. So I'm still learning the ropes while also trying to help this person. And so we were on the phone with underwriters for hours and just figuring out what can we do to save this. We were able to actually get that person saved, and he is still a loyal customer today, which is just great, because we could have very easily lost that. They could have easily gotten mad at us for a situation that, again, neither one of us were really at fault for. So just being able to save that person's business essentially was really good. And I feel like I've had a lot of smaller instances of that happening, but it feels good when a client tells you, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. So that kind of is why somebody should choose you as their insurance agent, because you will go above and beyond and not just take no for an answer, or just throw your hands up. You're actually going to dig into the issue and get it solved.
Yes.
So on an average day, would you say that you're a coffee drinker or an energy drink drinker?
Coffee probably 90% of the time, but I do enjoy an Alani every now and then.
Yeah. If you weren't in insurance, what would you be doing?
Honestly, I'd probably still be at my old job. I don't know what I would be doing. I guess if I had left that and not this, wasn't doing insurance, I don't know if I can answer that. Maybe I'd work at the mall. Something in retail.
Is the mall still a thing?
I don't know. Is the mall still a thing? I don't go there. I should be like an Amazon shopper, because I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah. John would say that you are.
He would say I'm a good shopper, but in a negative way.
Yeah. So Jess, this last question for you. What is your most essential thing that you can't live without?
Just in general? In life?
Well, in your office.
My laptop.
Yeah.
And my phone.
Yeah. You got to have those, because that's how people get a hold of you.
Yes. And that's how my whole business runs on that thing.
So how do people get a hold of you then?
I am on Facebook, so you can find me there, Jessica Suda. I'm on Instagram. You can call me. I've got a work number, 316-247-6997, or email.
Awesome. Well, Jess, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And if you as a client or a person in general are looking at getting your house, your cars, any of your commercial stuff, if you need that insured, Jess will go above and beyond and will not leave you out to dry. Like some agents where, you just never know really what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Jess will keep you informed the whole way. And if she can help you, give her a shout.
Yeah.
We're all done.
Thank you.